I moved into the house just after midnight, carrying nothing but a futon, 2 steel racks, and a box of leftover lemon bars. The place felt too big for one person, but the silence settled around me like something I had finally earned. After 6 years in Portland building a midnight dessert studio from nothing, this house in Gresham was the first space that belonged entirely to me. I woke to the chirp of the security app, movement on the porch. At first, I thought it was a delivery driver, maybe a neighbor, but when the camera feed loaded, I froze. Callie stood there, suitcase upright beside her, dressed in that soft, practiced vulnerability she had perfected since childhood. Behind her, my mother, Raine Mercer, clutched her cardigan like the house should open itself for her. I had not seen either of them in more than 11 years, yet they looked as though they were arriving for a weekend visit. I stayed behind the door for a breath, then I opened it just 4 inches. "Raine," Callie said, lifting her chin. "You look surprised." "You did not tell me you were coming," I answered. Ellen stepped forward. "We traveled all night. We thought you would be happy to see us." "I did not invite you," I said. "And you both know that." Something flickered across Callie's face. Annoyance, maybe disbelief. "We just need a place for a while. Things have been complicated." "I know," I said quietly, "and I am not your solution. If you are listening to this from wherever you are, tell me what city you are in. I want to see how far this moment reaches." Callie shifted her weight, studying the narrow opening of the door like she could will it wider. "Raine, can we please come inside? We have nowhere else to go." I kept my hand braced against the door frame. "That is not true. You had an apartment." Her eyes tightened. "I was evicted. The landlord said I missed too many payments." Ellen let out a weary sigh. "It was not her fault. They raised the rent, and my clinic cut my hours again. We are 3 months behind on everything." There it was, the expectation wrapped in exhaustion, the same shape it had always taken. "You both knew where I lived," I said, "but you never called. Not once." Ellen's mouth flattened. "We did not want to bother you until we were sure you were stable." "Stable," I repeated. "You mean until you were sure I could carry you?" Callie's voice cracked just enough to sound fragile. "You have a house now, a real house. We thought you would understand." I felt the folder I had prepared waiting on the table behind me. "I do understand," I said. "More than you think." Callie's suitcase wheels clicked softly against the porch as she took a small step forward, but I did not move. Callie's step toward the doorway pulled something old and raw out of me, something shaped long before any of us understood what it meant to choose a side. I kept my hand against the door and felt the weight of years settling behind my ribs. "Raine, why are you acting like this?" Callie asked. "We are family." Family. The word always sounded different coming from her, softer, easier, like it had only ever protected her. I said nothing, and memory did the talking for me. I was 13 when I first realized the house shifted according to Callie's moods. If she woke up anxious, Ellen turned off the television, lowered her voice, and asked everyone to be gentle today. If Callie forgot an assignment, Ellen sighed at me. "You are the older sister. You should remind her." One night, after Callie misplaced $20 meant for a school trip, she stood in the kitchen with tears trembling on her lashes. Ellen turned to me, voice low and disappointed. "Raine, if you needed the money, you could have asked." I had not touched it, but logic never stood a chance against Callie's tears. Callie looked at me now with the same practiced bewilderment she used back then. "I do not understand why you are being so cold." "You do," I said. "You understood it when we were children. You understood it when every mistake became my fault." Ellen's brows drew tight. "That is unfair, Raine." "No," I said quietly. "Unfair is what you taught me to carry." Ellen's face tightened the same way it used to when she thought I was making trouble. The look alone dragged me back to a summer afternoon in Dayton, one that rewired the whole shape of our family. Callie had lost a small envelope of field trip money, barely enough for a sandwich, but she stood in the kitchen trembling like the world had turned against her. Ellen hurried in, already panicked. "Sweetheart, what happened?" Callie lifted watery eyes. I do not know. I put it on the counter and then it was gone." Ellen turned to me almost instantly. "Raine?" I had been washing dishes. "I did not touch it." Callie swallowed hard. I wish I could remember what I did wrong." Ellen exhaled like her worry was proof of the truth. "Raine, if you needed the money, you should have said something." "I said I did not take it." "But you are the older one," Ellen insisted. "You should be more careful." I remembered standing there, soap running down my hands, wondering how I could defend myself against a feeling, Callie's feeling. Now, on my porch in Oregon, Callie stared at me with the same bewildered innocence. "You always twist things," she murmured. "It was never like that." "It was exactly like that," I said. Ellen's voice sharpened. "We did the best we could." "You did," I answered. "But your best required me to disappear a little at a time." Callie's shoulders touched her suitcase handle. "We just need you now," she whispered. "And I needed you then," I said. "But you did not notice." Callie drew a shaky breath, the kind she always used when she wanted sympathy to arrive before the truth. "Raine, you are being cruel. We were children. Things were confusing." "They were not confusing," I said. "They were predictable." Ellen's jaw tightened. "You left without a word. You abandoned us." That word, abandoned, hit with the same dull force it always had. It dragged me straight back to the morning everything finally snapped. I was 19. Callie had borrowed my old Honda to run an errand. She came back shaking, refusing to meet my eyes. The front bumper was caved in, a long scrape dragging across the paint like someone had sideswiped a guardrail. I walked into the kitchen behind her, still trying to stay calm. Ellen was already holding Callie by the shoulders. "Honey, breathe. Tell me what happened." I do not know," Callie whispered. "I tried my best." Ellen turned on me. "Raine, why would you let her take the car in that condition?" "It was fine when she left," I said. "Ask her." "Do not raise your voice," Ellen snapped. "Your sister is upset." Callie's lip trembled perfectly on cue. "I am sorry, Raine. I really tried." And that was the moment, the exact second. I realized nothing I said would matter in that house again. Now, on my new porch in Oregon, Callie lifted her chin the same way she did that day. "You always made everything harder than it needed to be." "I survived what you both refused to see," I said. Ellen's voice thinned. "We thought leaving you alone would give you space." "You did not give me space," I said quietly. "You replaced me, in every story, at every holiday." Callie's fingers curled around her suitcase handle. "Raine, we are here now." "Does that count for nothing?" "It counts," I said. "Just not in the way you want." Callie let out a fragile breath, the kind that once rewired entire evenings in our old house. "You make it sound like we never cared." I steadied my voice. "You cared when it was convenient." Ellen stepped closer to the crack of the door. "Raine, you built this whole life out here. You did not even tell us." "I tried," I said. "You changed your number." Ellen blinked, surprised that I remembered. But I remembered everything, every shift I worked alone, every late-night bake in that cramped shared kitchen in East Portland, every invoice I printed at 2 in the morning just to keep the lights on. I remembered learning to mix batter by feel, not by recipe, because I could not afford to mess up a batch. I remembered working 3 jobs at once until exhaustion felt like a second heartbeat. "I did not move here to hide," I said. "I moved here to become someone you could not edit." Callie frowned. "Edit? Raine, what does that even mean?" "It means," I said, "I got tired of hearing my life told in your voice." Ellen's face softened for the first time. "We heard you started some kind of dessert business." I almost laughed. Some kind of dessert business kept me alive for 6 years. Then a regional cafe chain offered weekly orders, and for the first time since I was a teenager, I could breathe. Callie's eyes flicked past me toward the small hallway behind the door. So this house, you bought it? I did. With work you never knew about. Ellen swallowed. Raine, we did not realize. I know, I said. That was the whole problem. Callie shifted closer again, suitcase wheels brushing the porch. Raine, can we please stop circling this? Just let us in. We will figure everything out once we are inside. I tightened my grip on the edge of the door. Inside is not the place to figure this out. Ellen's voice thinned with impatience. You have the space. You have stability. For once, we are asking for your help. For once? I repeated softly. That is interesting. Callie's expression flickered with irritation. You always do this. You make everything heavier than it needs to be. No, I said. I stopped pretending it was light. I let the silence stretch before turning slightly, reaching for the folder I had placed on the narrow console table hours earlier. My fingers brushed the spine. Paper, ink, proof, and I brought it to the door without opening it fully. Ellen's eyes narrowed. What is that supposed to be? Context, I said. The version of our history you never wanted to hear. Callie scoffed. Raine, this is dramatic, even for you. I flipped the folder open just enough for them to see the first page. The list of debts I had covered between ages 17 and 21. Grocery receipts, gas payments, utility bills in my name. Bank transfers handwritten because I could not afford a printer back then. Ellen blinked rapidly. You kept all of that? You taught me to, I said. You told me memory was unreliable, that feelings told the truth. So I wrote the truth down. I lifted the next page, screenshots of Callie's posts. The ones painting me as the sister who walked away and chose comfort over family. The ones their relatives reshared with prayer hands and sorrow. Callie's face paled. Those were just feelings. People vent. And here, I continued, tapping the final document, is the notarized no trespass notice, prepared because I knew this day might come. Ellen stepped back like the air had shifted. You would do that to your own family? I am doing it for myself, I said. Callie's voice fractured. Raine, please, we need you. For once, I said, I need me more. Then I closed the door, not fast, not cruel, but final. The door clicked shut, and for a moment the house felt like it inhaled with me. But the quiet did not last. My phone buzzed once, then again. Then, non-stop. Relatives I had not spoken to in more than a decade filling the screen with notifications. I opened just one message preview. A cousin wrote, Callie said you refused to help after she traveled all night. Family should not act like that. Another preview read, Your mother is heartbroken. Fix this. I set the phone down, walked to my laptop, and typed a single email addressed to every relative still using the same accounts from years ago. All communication will remain on email. No financial requests will be answered. No accusations or emotional statements will receive a response. Any unannounced visits will be handled legally. I signed my name and hit send. The replies came fast, long paragraphs about duty, sacrifice, and blood. Some accused me of becoming selfish. Others insisted Callie was just overwhelmed. I did not respond. Late that evening, Ellen sent one more email. No greeting, just a line she knew had once worked on me. You have broken your sister's heart. I read it slowly, letting the words sit exactly where they belonged. Then I closed the laptop and returned to my work list for the next morning, the house steady around me. Weeks passed before the noise finally thinned. The frantic messages slowed. The cousins stopped forwarding Callie's posts. Even Ellen's guilt-heavy emails faded into silence. What remained was steadier than anything I grew up with. Then, one afternoon, a short email from Callie appeared in my inbox. Do you know anywhere hiring evening shifts? No accusations. No trembling punctuation meant to pull me backward. Just a question." I replied with a list of local places looking for part-time help, then went back to updating invoices for the cafe chain. A few weeks later, she sent a single photo, her in a grocery store uniform, badge clipped to her collar, fluorescent lights washing out every trace of performance. She did not add a caption. She did not need to. I saved the image and let it sit. Months after that, Ellen asked if she could see the house, just once. I told her a day, an hour, and the rule, only her. She walked through quietly, touching nothing, offering small comments about the pantry and the baking trays. At the door, she paused with her palm against the frame, not claiming the space, simply acknowledging it was not hers. When she left, I felt the house settle around me again. If you are still listening, tell me where you are listening from. Boundaries sound different in every city, but they matter all the same.